What's up, guys? Buttonman Gaming here with a budget, and I mean budget, Tearlaments deck profile. Really cool, guys. So, I don't know if you guys been on YouTube recently, but a lot of people are, picking up 3 Traptrix structure decks and like winning tournaments. So, in order to pick up 3 Traptrix structure decks, you have to spend $36 plus tax, depending on your locals. So, some locals will have deals. However, retail's $12 a pop. If you buy it at Target, that's about 40 bucks, right, with tax. We gave ourselves the cash budget, so $36 cash to build this deck. I was able to build a competitive, actually really solid, really cool Tearlaments deck with 36 bucks on the dot, and including the side deck. So without further ado, let me jump into it so I can show you guys like the spice. So we play 2 Rhino Heart. We don't play 3 because the budget. We play 3 Havness. I mean, not 3 Havness. You can't play 3 Havness, guys. That's illegal. You play 1 of each other name. 1 Havness, 1 Merly, 1 Shireen. And then you play the 1 Tearlaments Kashtira. We had to squeeze 1 into the budget. This card's like 4 or 5 bucks. Rhino Heart's like 3, 4. That's why we couldn't play the 3rd of either. Yeah, anyways, not much to say about these. Really good. Tearlaments Kashtira is like another Havness. It lets you play in it, or on your turn or your opponent's turn, it lets you play. We play 1 of each of the Ishizu cards. So, not much to say about these. These shuffle. These mill 5. You hit mill 5, you're in business. Played 3 King of the Swamps. You now have to see this card in order to really like get the value out of the deck. King of the Swamp becomes Kid Kalos to make Real Kalos. King of the Swamp becomes Grapha to make the Overlord Grapha. King of the Swamp becomes Thousand Eyes to make the Relinquished. So you really need to see King of the Swamp in order to like really do your plays. Next you play, going on to spells, you play 3 Foolish Barrel of Goods. It's like your Rhoda of the deck. We played at 3 because it's also pretty budget. It's like 40-50 cents. You dump Celiac, search a name. You dump Heartbeat, you pick up a trap. You dump Scream, you search a trap. You dump Meta Noise, you pick up a name from grave. So really good card. Played at 3. Get the comments from Crystal P Structure deck. Then the spice of the deck, what I think makes the deck really cool. Obviously, we don't have the budget to play the Planet. Planet would be like 20 bucks, which essentially would eat up the whole budget. There's no way you could build a deck around that. You play this field spell instead. It's like 8 cents, guys. What this field says is that your monsters gain 500 attack, right? Your tiers and your fusions. And then when an Aqua tier is sent to the graveyard, it could be the Aqua tier fusion Rokalos. Except in the damage step, you could send 1 level 4 or lower Aqua monster from your deck to the graveyard. But if you send a non-tier element, you don't get to activate its effects. However, what this basically reads is that you either get an additional tier element in grave and a fusion, or you get to send King of the Swamp and use him as material, because King of the Swamp's effect does not activate, so it doesn't fall under the restrictions of Perlegia. So really cool, guys. Send a tier, send to the Swamp, make fusion. Really cool. In the grind game, you can like fuse like multiple times using this card as well. Next, we play the 1 Heartbeat. Comes up because people are playing a lot of traps nowadays. And then it also comes up to dump it to pick up a tier trap name. And then yeah, pretty cool. And also, like, when you activate it, you get to send something for effect. So you get to trigger your mill 5s or your other effects. Play the 1 Grief. It's like a Rhoda for tiers. I mean, like, it actually surprises me that this card was never like played at 3, but I get why, because the deck was so broken and didn't really need this as consistency. However, I know there was some lists that topped playing this card. Anyways, this is a Rhoda for your tiers. You summon it, you send it to the grave, you fuse. Or you summon it, you send something else to the grave, you do chain 1, chain 2. Like, a play that comes up is like, let's say you have a Sheeran on the board, you summon the Merly from deck, you send the Sheeran, chain 1, Shireen fuse, chain 2 Merly to mill 3. Pretty cool. And then if it gets milled, you get to pick up a banished trap. And how are you banishing traps, you may ask? Well, you use Tearlaments, shoot, can't talk, I'm sorry. Tearlaments, Rule Kalos, no. Tearlaments Kashtira, guys, how can I forget? Tearlaments Kashtira to banish cards, right? It banishes cards for effect in order to summon itself. So that's how you do that. Next, you play 2 Scream. Scream is the trap searcher when it gets dumped, and Scream is also the mill 3 every once per turn when a monster is normal or special summoned while you control a tier name. Really good. This card single-handedly won me like a grind game against a Tri-Brigade Bird Up deck, because I just continuously was getting hits and pluses, and I was eventually able to like outgrind and out-resource him with this and then Celiac up. Play your 1-ofs, your Terraforming Foolish Bearer, and the Reinforcement. This is going to get cut for another Rhino Heart once I have the budget for it. Moving on to your traps, you play the 2 Celiac, the Meta Noise, and then the Trivia Karma. I've highlighted this last video, but I'm going to highlight it again. This card's in the grave. You banish it for cost. Search any tier trap or spell, except the new field spell, because they all mention Visa Starfrost. Really good card. You know, off Foolish Bearer. That's why Foolish Bearer of Goods gets you into anything in your deck, because you can actually search Scream with Foolish Bearer of Goods by dumping Trivia Karma, banishing Trivia Karma to add Scream. Now the spice of the deck, rounding off a whole $1 in value, is Branded in High Spirits plus the Albion. This card basically says fuse with a tier, get a card to hand to dump and draw. It says dump the fairy, the millers, or dump the mill 5 preferably to your graveyard. Dump the Shadow Construct, which happens to be a fairy, appropriately statted, mill 5. Amazing. Just crazy card. It lets you play on your turn, lets you play on your opponents. Really, really good card, guys. Also really budget. This whole package is $1. I think even including the construct, which just happens to be like 25-40 cents. Next, you play your going second or package, which also is like a going first package in a way. You play the kaijus. We don't play the aquas because we don't have the budget for it, but we will get there. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, right? Pop the whole board, summon 2 kaijus. We played 3 different names in order to always have 2 different names to summon from deck. Also, what comes up is that you'll mill these a lot. You could banish even all 3 of them in the same turn to pick up 3 kaijus from your deck, essentially thinning your deck and shuffling your deck in order to like guarantee more hits, right? Comes up. That also comes up with Albion, where this guy essentially says, hey, reshuffle your deck for the turn or for next turn, right? When he's in the grave. So really cool. Obviously blows up the cash board. Gets over any threat. Gets over the Necrocosmos. And then you play the 41 card, which is Harpy Feather Duster. Just a meta call against all the trap decks in the format. Moving on to our extra deck, we're going to try to hurry up here. The 1 Kaleido Heart, going to make room, budget for 2. He's a priority. The 2 Rokalos, I'll show you why in a sec. The 2 Draco Stapelias, he's cheap. He's at 2. I did the play where I had a Draco. I cycled for another Draco to have 2 negates. The 1 Rafa Overlord, basically like a pseudo Omni negate that dumps for effect from your hand to get pluses. Monster negate, obviously Mud Dragon. Construct for the branded in target. Abyss Dweller and Road Dealer. Only 11 cards right now, but we will make room for more. And then the side deck real quick. Not much to say. Kaiju, Book of Eclipse, Cash, Traptrix matchup. Just generic matchups, and then going first. Not much to say about these. All really budget. I guess that's the only thing. All these cards are really, really cheap. I think the most expensive card right now, Dark Hole's like at 50-60 cents. So really cool. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. We have about a minute left. The reason you play 2 Rokalos is for the Branded in Spirits play with the field spell. So we have Branded in Spirits, and we have a name. So let's just say the Shireen. So what you'll do, you have the field spell up. You activate Branded in Spirits. It resolves. You dump, add the Albion, right? Then you do chain 1 Sheeran, chain 2 Pellerina. You could declare Sheeran because you could technically make Predaplant even if the field spell doesn't resolve. But then you dump King of the Swamp. And then you actually can make the other Rokalos. And bam. You can like make Rokalos there, and mind that you also got the Albion to hand, so you can cycle and draw. This deck went 3-1 today. I played pretty good matchups, pretty solid players. I'm looking forward to upgrading it and seeing how I do in the future. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace out. Later.